Hi, and welcome to another Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Wednesday, October 20th, and last week was a lot of positive news, things opening. This week is a little bit different, it's kind of the opposite.
A little bit of negatives.
A little bit of negatives.
This week, nothing horrible, but some negatives. The main thing is that everybody had high hopes for the Fontainebleau, which is, again, the big blue building at the north end of the Strip.
Yep.
JW Marriott had stepped in, and they were going to see to it that it was completed. They were going to have their own hotel brand there, JW Marriott, Las Vegas Boulevard, and all of a sudden, boom, they're out.
Right.
So that leaves the Fontainebleau back where it was, which is basically at ground zero. You know, they're back to zero.
It's just a giant, blue, beautiful building with a lot of potential.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, everybody's rooting for it to happen, but who knows what's next? So the current owners are saying, you know, we're going forward. We're going to open it. We don't know when, but, you know, it's actually going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, and then also in other kind of weird negative news, Celine Dion, who everyone was kind of looking forward to starting up again. She's a big Vegas staple here, postponed.
Yeah. She, nobody knows why. They said medical issues. She was supposed to open November 5th, so it was right around the corner. And now we don't know. There's no new date for her. And she was the biggest headliner there.
Right. And that was Resorts World was going to host Celine. And I know that Katy Perry and some other big entertainers are supposed to be coming out of Resorts World.
Yeah, it shouldn't affect that. There's Katy Perry, there's Carrie Underwood, there's Luke Bryan, and there's still rumblings that Adele may eventually be there.
All right.
So, you know, I've got kind of an interesting Celine Dion story.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I knew her husband really well, Renee Angelo, who became a big show impresario, you know, after marrying Celine. But he was also known as a gambler.
Right.
And by we, I mean the teams I used to play on. I used to play with Stanford Wong and his tournament team, and then later with a guy named Alan Brown, and we played tournaments all over. And Renee was not famous back then, but he was playing the tournaments, and we used to play against him.
Wow.
And in fact, we used to call him Frenchie because he was French-Canadian, you know,
Right.
and he talked with that accent, and we used to call him Frenchie. So one day, a guy walks up to me and he says, and this is a true story, 100%, he goes, you might want to avoid Frenchie. He's trying to get investment. And he's walking around with a CD, and he's trying to get investment.
Yeah.
So everybody avoided Frenchie because we didn't want to give him any money. Well, guess who was on the CD?
Celine Dion.
Celine was on the CD. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we could have had a piece of Celine, you know, way
Wow.
back. This was in the 90s. You
Yeah.
know, this was in the early 90s.
Yeah.
There was no Celine Dion. She was a teenager.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's
but,
wild.
But anyway, I remained friends with Renee for years and years. You know, he died a few years ago, but he used to ask me, you know, you want to come see Celine? You want to sit in the front? You want to come back and meet Celine? I never went. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, you
Not
should have
my cup of tea.
invested. You should have got a piece of it.
I guess,
You
but
know?
I mean, for anybody who is going to want to see Celine, you better get ready. I mean, those tickets are going to be $200-300 a piece, I think.
Yeah, they're very expensive. I'd like to go see Sting. I think Sting's coming up at Caesars.
That'd be good. That'd be a good show.
I think that would be a pretty awesome show too.
Right.
Okay, so a lot of people were asking. We didn't bring up the CIRCA Survivor last week, and a lot of people were commenting, is Anthony still in? I looked it up this morning. There are 2,224 people remaining in the competition, and only about 50 people were eliminated last week. Anthony, are you still in?
Yes, I'm one of the 2,200.
Okay.
Played the Steelers last week, another nail biter. They went into overtime and pulled it out against the Seahawks. I've been playing. We've been playing. I'm playing with a partner. We've been playing a lot of risky plays in the beginning, which is the best strategy for this kind of competition. A lot of people are playing all the obvious favorites, but they can't use them again. We've been playing more risky plays, you know. So rather than taking 10 and 12-point favorites that were available last week, we took the Steelers at a 5-point favorite.
Okay.
But what that does is that leaves us all these really good teams for later on. So we're trying to load it up for the back end here.
All right. Well, you survived another week. And then the other thing that you know, I think we talked about in a previous episode was that at one point you had several entries, but now you're only down to your last entry.
Yeah, we had 6. You know, we went the full amount, and we had 6, and we've lost 5 of them already with this risky strategy.
Okay.
But we do have the one, and we do have a lot of good teams left in our quiver for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm rooting for you, and I think the people at home are pulling for you as well. So we'll continue to give updates on that because it seems like something everybody's really interested in.
If we win this at $6 million, we'll forget YouTube. We'll buy a TV studio.
All right. Cool. We do enjoy getting the comments, and we've been trying to be good about responding to as many as we can. But this week we got a comment from Mr. Vacation asking, where can you find the best video poker games in Vegas?
It depends. It depends on what games you want to play. Obviously, the pay schedules, but it depends a lot on denom. What denomination? Do you want to play quarters? Do you want to play dollars? Do you want to play nickels? So different places are better for different denominations.
Okay.
If I were to throw some names out of places that I think are just really good video poker houses, I would go with South Point. Let's see, I'll get my list here. South Point, Four Queens, Plaza, El Cortez, M Resort, and a little place on Sahara called Eureka. They've got really great schedules at the quarter and dollar levels, most of these. And you can't really go wrong playing at these kind of places, but that's just a few of them. There are so many. What I really recommend is that you judge for yourself and you look at the roster of what each place's inventory is, which you can do at LasVegasAdvisor.com. We have a page there called Best Video Poker. And, I think we're going to put the URL up that you can click to it. And as you can see, it shows you every casino in Las Vegas and what they're offering.
Yeah.
And it's really strong, and that's the way to go.
Okay. So we'll post a link in the description box below, and you can click on that link, and there's a lot of information, a lot of different games, and a lot of different casinos you can go find these games.
Right.
One question I have, is there any casinos on the Strip that actually have a good pay schedule on video poker?
They're here and there. But, I couldn't put a Strip casino in that list because the Strip, it's just a rule of thumb that the Strip is the worst place to play the games. Mm-hmm. All of the rules on the table games, the paybacks on the machines tend to be lower on the Strip. Now, that's not always the case. You'll find one here and there with a good play, especially if there's progressives going, in which there are a lot on the Strip. But for the most part, you've got to go downtown or you've got to go to the locals casinos.
Okay. All right. And also last week we talked about the Gene Scott Video Poker book. If you bought that book, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think, and let us know if it was helpful to you.
We made several sales this week after promoting it, and it's a great product.
Yeah. So let us know if you're one of the people who bought it. Let us know what you think.
So speaking of video poker and jackpots, which we show every week, tell us about this week's jackpot, Andrew.
This week's jackpot is me. Okay, so in previous episodes, we talked about how I've never hit a royal flush in my life, and I wish I could say this is a big one, but I was playing the 2-cent super pay bonus.
50 play, but you were playing 25 hands.
Yeah, sorry, I messed up.
Andrew's like, does it count? I was playing 25 hands. Well, of course it counts.
Yeah.
And I want it to count because every time we go out and play, he moans and whines about it. Another session without a royal flush. So Andrew hit his royal flush.
I did.
And what did it pay for 2 cents?
For 2 cents, it paid $80.
All right.
So I was very happy with that. And
good for you. Next week we'll get back to real jackpots, Andrew.
Yeah, next week we're going to get back to some real jackpots. But here it is. There's my picture. I got it on the. It's a really fun game to play, by the way. The super double times pay is like really fun.
But this is what we talked about earlier. Denoms. Where was it? You didn't say where it was. Where was it?
I hit it at the South Point.
All right, there you go. And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Up till this moment, I did not ask you where it was.
Yeah.
So there you go. What did I say? South Point is one of the places that tends to have good schedules up and down the line.
Well, the South Point has the great buffet, so I went for the buffet, and I ended up having a drink and playing a slot game.
I know. It sounds like we're under contract with South Point. They don't pay us a dime to advertise. It's just a really good casino.
Yeah, and they have great games there. A lot of fun. Okay, and as everybody knows, here at Las Vegas Advisor, Huntington Press, we publish a bunch of books. Now, we got 3 new books. Anthony, can you tell us about these 3 awesome books that have just come in?
Yeah, 3 new books in this weekend. The first one is, I'll save this one for last. First one is Sharp Sports Betting, which is, this book has been out for a long time. There aren't many good books on sports betting, but this one was by Stanford Wong. I mentioned Wong earlier, that I played on his tournament team. Wong was one of the great gambling authors really of all time, and he did this great book, Sharp Sports Betting. We acquired that title, among others, from Wong, and we brought it back out. It had been out of print. Anybody interested in sports, it's a great one to read. Second, we did a completely new book called The 50 Greatest Stories in Poker History.
Okay.
And this was by a Hungarian author, believe it or not, Martin Magyar, which has something to do with Hungary. And it's bathroom reading, man. I mean, it's really great bathroom reading. You've got 50 stories. They're about anywhere from a page and a half to 3 pages.
Okay.
About some of the coolest things that have happened in poker. So people who like poker stories, there you go. Third one is called Love in the Dunes.
All right.
And this is the interesting one. This is an annual compendium that we do for the city.
Okay.
And it brings together, every year it brings together a dozen or so of the best writers in Las Vegas, and they write something about the theme. And this theme is like love in the desert, love in Las Vegas. And what's interesting about this is one of the writers in this is Bob Dancer, who's the video poker guy who writes about relationships.
Right. And he also has the Tiny Dancer card.
Yeah, his main thing is video poker strategy.
Yeah.
But he's a very good writer.
Yeah.
So what we have here are lots of good writers writing about basically love. And there's a lot of Vegas in this, and it's a lot of fun to read. We don't make any money on it. It's pro bono. It's kind of pro bono. We do it for the city, and we've done this is I think the 8th or 9th edition we've done.
All right, that's cool. So if you want to check out some of Bob Dancer's writing, it's going to be in that book amongst others. And also they have a podcast called Gambling with an Edge that they do. We'll put a link to it in the box below. They have a YouTube channel, podcast.
That's about Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin.
Yeah.
And that's really one of the finest on the internet. That is one of the finest shows that talks about gambling properly. These are guys that really know their stuff.
Right. As opposed to some of the influencers that, say, we had one the other day that said that the sound volume helps you win, depending on where the sound volume is.
Yeah, crazy stuff comes from the influencers sometimes.
Yeah. So last but not least, do we have any new mask updates?
There's one bit of information that's interesting. In general, again, it looks like positivity rates and things are going down. But one group, which is the Boyd casinos, has gone back to a much stricter mask policy. So at places like Gold Coast, Orleans, Samstown, Suncoast, all the Boyd properties, they are getting on your case if you're not wearing the mask all the time. You can pull it down to drink or eat. This is the way it was during the shutdown. We got this information from a friend of ours who spends time there, and he asked around, and it was confirmed that, yes, this had come down from the top at Boyd.
Okay. So be forewarned, as always, you have to bring your mask to enter any casino. As for now, you do not need to be vaccinated or show any proof of vaccination. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell button if you want to receive updates when we post. And thank you for watching. That's it for me. Anything else to add?
No, we'll be back next week.
Yep.